Harris, 1 second.
Hey everybody, this is Liz from Augusta, and today I have someone that I want you to meet and hear a little bit of their story. I'm going to let him introduce himself and let you know where he's from.
How's everybody doing? Yeah, I'm Pete Harris I have the Virginia Beach location. Let's see, this is our second year, and we're doing pretty good. So, yeah, I would encourage anybody to just keep fighting the fight because it's worth it. It's a struggle. It's not easy, but it's definitely everything I asked for. So
awesome. So let's start at the beginning. How did you first hear about Mike?
Let's see. I got my notes over here. Sorry. I was just doing research. I mean, I started our business when we always jug the chuck in a truck setup. It was me and my son. I was working a full-time job doing lawn care on the weekends and nights. So it's just watching YouTube, doing research. I seen Mike. I seen a bunch of his videos, and I liked how he was all about the numbers and not about the flash. The fancy trucks and whatnot. So I then just ran across a video. He's mentioned franchise opportunities, and just went down that wormhole, and we were at a good spot. We had like 60 clients, and it was a good spot to transition over.
So you had a full-time job, and then you did lawn care on the side. And right. Is that how you got your 60 clients? You were trying to do that besides a full-time job?
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it was like probably 40 or something mowing, recurring work, bi-weekly people and whatnot. But yeah, so it was pretty busy. But yeah, my son, he took right to it. He enjoyed it. So it's fun working with him.
Yep. So you're married and you have a family.
Yep. 2 kids. Yeah, my son's 20, our daughter's 10. So yep.
Excellent. So what was the final thing that really caused you to switch to the franchise?
To switch to the franchise, it was more about having the guidance and seeing the size of Augusta, like what it was, and I wanted to become that. So I like the idea of just having the guidance, and it was advertised about the systems, and because I definitely saw it where, yeah, we had those 60 clients, and it was definitely a ceiling. Like I could never see us a point where we could expand to having employees. It was just a roadblock, and then I had my full-time job, so it was kind of the opportunity to just jump in and do it, and just have you guys back us up and help us out when we need it, and it's worked out great.
So how long had the franchise been in operation before you started up? How many years? Maybe a couple years had the franchise started before you joined?
Oh, our old company?
No. I mean, Augusta wasn't very old when you would have started. If this is your second season that you've been with Augusta, so it was fairly new. Had you been watching the progression of it, listening to Mike talk?
Yeah. I mean, it was probably just that year I ran into it. I forgot what number we were when we signed up, but I think we were like within the first 50. So I think you guys have been around at least 2 years or so.
Yeah, that sounds right. Sounds right. So what kind of marketing did you do? What kind of CRM did you have? Did you have anything like that when you were on your own?
Yeah. We had I created a website. I went down that wormhole, and I was pretty proud of myself because I'm not the most computer illiterate. So I was able to just go to YouTube University and create a website. Just getting on Google Maps. So I learned about that, how to do that, and then we used Yardbook for the free section where that was did as well. But yeah, as soon as we got up above 50 people, we could see the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then once I found out about once I found out about the franchising and what it was all about and the freedom really that you guys offered, there was people hear franchising, but they just think restrictions.
Totally.
And it wasn't like that at all. So, yeah.
So then you came up and you did some training. How was that for you? Was it completely overwhelming, or did you feel a little more settled about what was going to happen?
It wasn't overwhelming. Yeah, settled. Just it was it was everything I was hoping for. So it was nice just to see like the setup going on in Washington and what I can duplicate. I really like just following what someone already did,
Yeah.
especially financially. Just, you know, it's kind of a big risk leaving my job. So I really just wanted the confidence that this was going to work, and seeing
Right.
what was going on there just really
Yeah.
boosted my confidence.
What was it about Mike? I mean, he's quite a bit younger than you and younger than all of us. And what was it that you could actually feel like you could vet him and have confidence in him?
Um, just my gut reading, you know,
Mhm.
he seemed authentic, and you know, I could see I like the numbers side of it and how he was able to just back up whatever he says, and yeah, he just seemed genuine. So a lot of it, yeah, it's just my gut. So and then yeah, just research too, just to back up, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Were you able to talk to some other franchisees before you came on?
Let's see, let's see. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I was trying to reach out to, because there was two other locations, one in Woodbridge where I used to
Mhm.
live actually in Virginia, but you know Virginia Beach is like a 4 hour. So no, I never was able
Mhm.
to
So
meet
you felt
anybody.
like, yeah, you felt like you could really vet the company enough yourself by what you were finding online and what you were listening to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a risk, but you know, like where I was at with my old job, I was just kind of fed up when new management came in, just
Mm,
totally changed things, and it just was time for a change for myself. So I was in on my old job for 10 years, and
wow.
just had enough, you know. And my father he had a landscaping business when I was really young, so I kind of knew what it
Really?
was all about, and just kind of knew that lifestyle. And he
Yeah.
actually had regrets that he didn't pursue it, and he went to, you know, what he called the safe route, and went to work for a big corporation, you know. And then he just always talked about regret, which he just followed his dreams and, you know, had his own business.
What
But
has he thought about this? Like watching you, was he really concerned that you were taking too big of a risk?
somewhat, but because he had those regrets, I think he saw that I was taking a safer route going to franchising.
Yeah,
He was the same way with like franchising. Like a lot of people have that stigma that
totally.
it just is, you know, it's like one sided or something. You're just paying all these fees, and you know, and like, man, that hasn't been our experience at all. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
but
good. So how long were you with Augusta before you quit your other job?
let's see. So it was last January when we, you know, when we first really started. So it was probably just I made it till April at my old job, so it's kind of, you know, I was keeping it hidden. Really, I didn't want my, you know, bosses to know about it. But it
Yeah.
eventually got out, and you know, I just basically confessed to them, and you know, it was all good, you know, because yeah, they got confrontational at one point. It was kind of funny, but yeah, I just had to do what I do, because it's different. If I was just a single guy, I wouldn't have cared, you know, just protecting your family and everything. So
Yeah.
keeping
Yeah,
it
for
hidden.
sure. So
Yep.
that time for you would have been crazy then because you would have come for training in December or January, and then you would have started your marketing and really ramping up and doing that while you were still trying to work full time.
Right. Yep. And yeah, it worked out like you guys on the West Coast, because my job was like, it was weird. It was actually like 6 in the morning to 2:30. That was like an 8 hour shift. So I had like 2:30 in the afternoon free, you know, the rest of the night. And you guys are West Coast, so
Still going at it.
literally available for 5 hours, you know, so yeah, it was pretty smooth.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how long you've been for two full spring seasons then?
Yep.
And how have the two compared?
Let's see. Yeah. Last season, you know, it's like you're just excited, and you're jumping on every estimate, and you know it's
Yep.
not coming in fast enough, and so it definitely met my expectations. I know it didn't surprise me. I expected that, you know, because you're a new company in the area, but it was, once it got traction, it was just, you know, it started, you know, a couple leads a day, and then finally was getting up to, you know, it probably averaged about 5 a day last year, and then
Great.
this past spring it was definitely a lot more, where I didn't have enough employees to keep up, and so it was me working in the field trying to do estimates this year, and still like that. And so but yeah, definitely a lot more estimates. That's probably the main thing. Is just that was my main worry is, can the leads come in? And
Yes.
it's just, yeah, it's not, I don't even worry about it anymore. Now it's just about getting the work done, which I prefer that problem to the phone not ringing. So.
And is your son still working with you?
Yeah, he's doing great. So he's out solo, just what you guys envision.
Yep.
Augusta, he's killing it with the P4P. And yeah, he's doing great. So eventually, yeah, I'd like to get him more involved with estimates and whatnot. So he had one little, trial and error with the estimates. It was kind of funny. It was, he'll get it eventually, but yeah.
That's great. And so is he watching the content too? Does he kind of get where you're coming from?
Yeah. It's funny because he's got his computer, he's still living with us, and we got our TV at night. So we're usually watching whatever is new on YouTube or whatever popping up. And so he's in the background listening. So he knows what's going on. So
that's great.
Yeah, he's not actively searching it out. He's still a kid. I just want to kind of let him be a kid, so I don't try to jam all this business down his throat. So,
yeah, exactly. Like you're hoping that he'll just want to learn about business as he goes along. Do you feel like even if he doesn't do lawn care, you still want him to use this to learn business a little bit?
Yeah, because I think he saw what I went through with the company I worked for 10 years and how you really commit yourself, and then they just drop you like a bad habit as soon as they don't have a use for you, So I mean, they didn't drop me, but they went another direction, and all of a sudden, like, my opinion wasn't worth anything.
Yeah.
Because I was in a supervising position, and so that stress there, and now it's like, hey, now like running a business is that freedom to, be a leader here and not have to worry about new management were coming in and destroying everything I had, so
it's nice to be running the show, isn't it?
Yeah. And because the old job, you start thinking like, is it me? And then this is kind of like confirming, okay, it wasn't me. So
yes.
The success I'm having, so a lot of it's just self-development for me, just confirmation and building confidence. So
how have you hired any employees?
Yeah, we got up to, I think we had, besides, the immediate family, like there was 5 guys with us. So I think we were up to 7 at one point total. And then it's like a revolving door lately for some reason. It's just hard to, you think you're settled in, and someone's leaving or you have to get rid of somebody. So it's like every 2 weeks now you're either training or, So I just heard one guy's, because we got shipyards near us, he's going to the shipyard to be a welder, so oh my gosh. So yeah. All right, get that ad in Indeed, and here we go again. So
I know it's like it's never ending. Did you feel like in the beginning though, oh, it's ramping up, I don't need to overhire last season? And then did you not hire enough people last year?
No, we did pretty good last year because my brother was with us too. So there was like 3 of us. So we were able to handle it pretty good. We didn't, because it was not slow, but it was ramping up. So we were able to keep up with it. And so the 3 of us pretty much made it all summer. And then I tried hiring somebody in the fall. We did, and it worked out. With it was a good experience to finally hire someone, because that was my biggest fear, was just hiring employees and giving that responsibility. Taking on that responsibility, and it was a good experience. The guy had no experience, so I was like trying to teach him, and he was I think a restaurant worker, and at the time it was hard to find people experienced. So you're just like, all right, I got to train somebody to just ride it with me and go from there, but yeah, but that led into this year where it was like that fear is gone, and I can feel like I can hire a dozen guys, and it doesn't scare me at all anymore. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So in your other job, you didn't have to hire and manage people, really?
Yeah, I was supervising. It was a machine shop, so it was around a dozen people at its peak, I guess, and then but it probably averaged eight people. So it's real similar what I got going on. So it wasn't that hard of a transition. But it's definitely different dealing with like machinists to
Yeah,
landscapers. People
for
that walk
sure.
in the door are a little tougher to
Yeah.
deal with, but yeah. So
Well, the same there. You probably didn't actually hire them though, right? So this was still a whole new ball game for you.
yeah, I mean, I was involved with interviews, but it was like, yeah, there was like I had to go HR. Here it's just, yeah, it's all on you really. So if you make a bad
Yeah.
hire, it's a learning experience, and you know, that's kind of
Yeah.
where we're at now. Is like, all right, um, I know what to not do now, so I'm excited for my future hires because now I feel like I got a core group that we can build on.
Hmm.
In the beginning, you're just like looking for anybody that can show up, So
Yep.
I definitely seen a turn in the market though, as far as leads coming in. It's all of a sudden a lot more guys with experience, and like we ran an ad in Indeed, and there's like six, good leads versus just one, So
Nice. Do you think that's brand awareness?
no, because I asked people in the interview, like, hey, do you know about Augusta? And they're all like,
Mhm.
no. so,
Okay.
and there is a few, don't get me wrong, but yeah, so far, no, I don't think it is brand awareness. There have been a few that, yeah, we see your trucks, but the majority has been just Indeed,
Mhm.
people
That's
posted.
always my first question too, because I feel like if they've actually researched us or, just find anything about us, they're going to be a better candidate than others.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I always ask that question. Um, then the driver's license, one guy got me on that. He found out he didn't have a driver's license. So,
Terrible.
yeah, and so it's just live and learn.
Yeah. So do you require a driver's license and a cell phone for each person?
Yeah, yeah. And I wasn't like real pushy about it, so I'm like, well, give me a copy of your driver's license when you can. And it turned into weeks, and it never got with. Oh, like, all right, it's come to find out he didn't have a driver's license. He was just,
Yeah.
So
Funny how that works, and
yeah,
funny
it's
how
not
they can't quite get in for a drug test either if you're requiring it.
right, right. So
Yeah. So now you're in your second season. How many trucks do you have? How many guys do you have? And where are you at with your customer base?
let's see, trucks. So we have 5 trucks. Um, we started with basically 2. So this past year's, adding like 3 trucks,
Wow.
and it's been going good. But I definitely go the cheap route. Like I find these $5,000 trucks.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I got to get them painted anyway, so I can kind of get these beater trucks, and
exactly.
I'm pretty mechanically inclined, so I'm not scared to take a risk on these old trucks, and um, so that's how I was able to kind of build so many
Nice.
setups because I couldn't afford getting 5 setups with $30,000 trucks.
Hmm.
So it's nice now because now it feels like, hey, we got up to 5. Our next setups, I feel like, okay, we can get some new 5-year-old trucks that are definitely a lot nicer. So
Hmm.
revolve and get rid of the old ones, and
Yeah.
go from there. But
So now you have what, 4 or 5 guys?
yes, besides my son, I think there's 4 of us right now.
So you mostly try to have everybody on solo routes if you can.
Yeah. So I have a new hire coming on this next Friday. So, I was telling him you'd be training with me a week and riding with a guy,
Hmm.
2-man crew. And then I have this one other truck, but it's kind of like my fertilization truck that
Hmm.
it's more or less like my estimator. It's one of those Isuzu MPRs that
Yeah.
can't really let the employees drive it. So I got an older, Chevy pickup, and that truck is kind of like mine. So until I find the right guy that I can, trust driving a big truck, just the liability thing. I'm scared to.
Yeah. So are you using that truck for estimates?
The Isuzu, yeah. Yeah, it's funny because it's like you roll up to a property with that. It almost like people like seeing that.
Yeah.
Versus, some just a little pickup truck, So they think, you feel more professional, I guess, when you roll up in a truck with, set up for fertilization. And,
Yeah.
It feels like, it gives you the confidence to, hey, you know what you're talking about,
Right. So how much are you working in the field now?
Let's see. I was almost out of the field and now I'm back to like 50-50, you know, so
Somebody quit.
half the day. Yeah. Half the day. Lately, it's been most of the day that I'm behind on estimates just because there's some drama with employees and whatnot. So, um,
So do you try to stack them then? Do you try to work in the day and then put like the last 3 hours of your day as estimates?
yeah. Yeah. Usually, like, yeah, wife will ride along for estimates, you know, in the afternoon. So it's good to reconnect with her, you know,
Yeah.
otherwise you're just out in the field all day, you know, so it's good to, I like doing it that way because find it too in the estimates in the morning. It's hard to get a hold of people like 8 o'clock
Hmm.
in the morning. So it's definitely easier, you know, 5 o'clock at night.
Were you able to keep your first 60 customers? Were they okay transitioning with you?
Most of them, I would say 50-50 because we were definitely, I guess, the low baller guy. So as soon as they heard about the franchise and, you know, the price went up just $5, you know, we lost a lot of them. They just wanted that cheap $35 cut. That's all they cared about. So,
Yeah. So
but
where are you now with how many customers do you have now?
for the recurring mowing, it's around the 200 mark. I'm not
Awesome.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number, but in that neighborhood. And then our landscaping jobs, we're trying to do it like we got one landscaping job every day, but
Hmm.
you know, that's really the challenge now is just finding guys that want to do landscape, and everybody just wants to mow. I
That's
think,
crazy, huh? And then you'll have other groups that only want to landscape and they would never want to mow.
yeah, I wish I could find some those guys, but I think it's just because of the heat and humidity here.
Yeah,
They just
probably.
like jumping in and out of the truck for AC for 5 minutes every hour,
That's
you know.
cool.
So I think that's the only reason, you know, because it gets humid here. I think Mike is showing in the North Carolina videos, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah. He did not look forward to that heat. And I really don't know. Can you ever acclimate to a place that hot?
oh yeah, yeah, because I'm used to it. So what happens now is like if I go to a restaurant and they got the AC on, I'm freezing, you know. So I'm like, you
Wow.
definitely get used to it. Uh,
That's
Definitely
good.
cleans your pores too. You know, you're just sweating.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
So how much is your wife involved?
man, nonstop. She's you know behind the scenes doing all the office work. You know, the local stuff as far as scheduling, invoicing. So
So
there's certain
she would
things like
basically be your office assistant or your office
yeah.
manager.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I know you use Command Center some, and it's an a la carte service. So how do you have her doing some things in Command? Is it that she does the things that she can do, likes to do, wants to do, and then they take off you guys' plate really what you don't want to deal with? Or how does that work?
Yeah, she does all like the communication for me with like Connect. So it really frees me up,
Yeah.
and so I can deal with the guys and work too, and then the invoicing because she likes invoicing weekly instead of monthly.
Yep.
Um, Probably next year as they get more and more customers, it's going to be hard to do that, you know, because it's just
Yeah.
so many invoices you got to do every week. It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she likes being in control of that, and um, yeah, then the communication is a big thing, you know, dealing with clients too, and um, you know, I try to take back ownership of the dealing with the employees because they're
Hmm.
definitely like it's almost like the mom and dad thing with employees. Like
Yeah.
they would be talking to her instead of me. So there was a chain in command
Yeah. So throughout the
miscommunication.
day, then they communicate with you like via
Yeah.
WhatsApp or text or something.
Yeah. I had to like really shut it down as far as just talk to me because there was like a lot of, well, she said this, you know, and, you know, so
Yeah.
I just said, I'm like, all right, you deal with the office side of stuff and I'll deal with the employees. So
So basically, the two of you kind of decided who was going to do what, and you split up your roles.
yeah, I mean, she just kind of morphed into it, took on the responsibility, and just me being busy in the field. I was like, yeah, go for it, whatever frees me up, and it's been a blessing, really. So, because
Hmm.
um, I hear people talk about other locations, and I'm like, man, I don't know how. Yeah, it's almost like you need two people, like two general managers,
Hmm.
to be able to handle that, you know. So, yeah, so I'm not gung ho to like start a second location. I'd rather get this one large and running itself, and
Yeah.
then explore that.
Yeah. How was she in the beginning when you were first listening to the content and thinking about becoming a franchise? What was her take on everything?
Yeah, she was real supportive. Like, I think it was success that we had just with that old business, like all the
Mm-hmm.
work coming in. It really wasn't hard to get business at all. And then, the quality work was good. All the customers were happy. A lot of feedback was good. So she just saw the potential. She kind of knew I wasn't happy at my old job. So it's kind of, yeah, it's definitely good having her support.
Mm-hmm. So it was like a family commitment that you guys kind of jumped in together.
Yeah, and it was what I call a safe risk, and she knew my
Mm-hmm.
work ethic where, work 60, 80 hours a week, whatever it takes, to make it happen. And then, yeah, her taking on that role just really allowed me to do that much more work because I couldn't imagine trying to do the office side of things. Like I think a lot of these franchises are doing,
Yeah.
so
So those that don't know, and they know that we have command center, that basically takes the role of people having to have an office assistant.
yeah,
So do you have them answer the phone for you throughout the day?
yeah. Command center, they basically do everything except for invoicing and that's
Do
about
they do
it.
your email too?
Yeah, they take care of that. And the scheduling, I think we took that back because it was just, it got to be because I can't find landscapers. So
Mhm.
it was just,
You were probably having to move things around a lot.
yeah, and then, people's skills, it was hard to get
Yeah.
landscaping work done with my labor here. So we just took that back on. So yeah, we do scheduling and um, invoicing. I think that's about it. I mean, pretty much use you guys for everything else. Yeah, the more the merrier. I
Yeah.
prefer you guys doing as much as possible. Especially, yeah, probably invoicing next year will be using you too.
Yeah. So what kind of CRM do you use?
Service autopilot. Yeah, we got to learn about the Copilot still.
Yeah. Was Service Autopilot hard for you guys to get the grasp of? Since you had used Yardbook, that's completely different.
It wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was definitely just going through the motions and just diving in. Really, it wasn't. Yeah,
Mhm.
all in all, it's been a positive experience. It kind of makes sense once you do it a few times. Yeah,
Mhm.
didn't really
So
struggle with it.
if you had to do this all over again, what would you do differently?
It's I don't think anything. I mean, it's been pretty much what we were hoping for. The leads, I know that was my main word is just the leads
Mhm.
coming in, and I know I can pay the bills and worry about the employees. I say, well, that's kind of I like having that problem
Mhm.
where the work is backed up, versus the other way around, work not coming in.
Do you think
So
that's a big part of your personality, though, that you committed to it, like you're gonna do the systems no matter what and see if they work? Because it seems like you're pretty on board with the systems rather than kind of pushing against it.
yeah, I just like I said, signing up with you guys, I just really wanted to ride the train and use your guidance with
Mhm.
the franchise and figure. I see you had success doing it there. Why not here? So I'm not going to buck the
Mhm.
system. And just certain little things like the scheduling is stuff just because we know what's going on with the employees here. That's the only thing
Yeah.
we're controlling. But yeah, everything else has been great. I can't really, and that's it. You can really make the business what you want. There's no restrictions. Um, talking with Chuck, I was telling him like our plan for the winter. We're getting into sod, so just to fill
Mm.
those few months
Yep.
and like drainage solutions like French drains and stuff because
Hmm.
the water table here is so high. So it's working out now. And now I'm selling those jobs, trying to
Nice.
get booked out for January, February because I hate to lose any core guys I have now. So I want them
Right.
to keep them year round.
So will you offer anything like snow or Christmas lights or winter services?
Yeah, winter services. I went to that Christmas lights training
Hmm.
and I was game, but it was like the work just kept coming in, winter services and cleanups that I didn't want to put the investment in the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
It was like go one direction or the other, and I went I went the fertilization
Oh,
route
okay. Yep.
in, weed control and fertilization. I invested in that. I spent the money on that for that Isuzu truck I was telling you about. So
Yeah. How has that gone for you?
pretty good. It takes a lot of my time, so I don't really push that. I just let that
Mhm.
grow organically. And but it's what's great about it is just the education and turf.
Mhm.
So it's nice now. Like any estimates I'm going to, I know how to educate the customer and know what I'm talking about. So it's from disease to
Yeah.
whatever weeds. Because man, I couldn't identify St. Augustine, when I first
Yeah.
started, and
That's awesome.
so um, so that's been great, just the education that it off. And
Yeah.
it's like I got nothing against the Christmas lights. I mean, it's a lot of people here are doing great with it, but I just went that route. I just preferred.
Mhm.
I think I like the turf,
Yeah.
the landscape, and it kind of goes hand in hand. But
Are your services for landscaping and such, are they pretty complicated or have you tried to simplify them?
I try to keep it simple. So basically, you guys advertise simple services. Way back, I was getting into the design,
Mm-hmm.
and man, I forgot the program, but it was like drawing stuff on the computer. What was it?
Yeah.
The studio structure studios. I forgot, but yeah, I was getting into it, but then it just took my time, and then too much time, and customers were wishy washy. As soon as it like hit like $5,000, all of a sudden it was like a lot of no's, and it was like a lot of wasted time, and
Exactly.
then yeah, it just wasn't worth it. And then the business just kept picking up. I'm like, yeah, that just kind of faded away. Now we just tell people we don't do design anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So no snow for the winter?
nah, it's probably I don't think it snowed last year or the year before. It's been like
Oh
three
my.
years, yeah, since we've seen snowflakes. So
Okay, so that's not big market there.
no, so when it does, yeah, I can see like throwing a one-click estimate and be
No
like, hey,
kidding.
we'll just go run around with shovels, and because you can make a killing here with any snow, driveways. You
They'd
get like
probably be so
100 bucks.
scared. Yep, they'd all be so scared. They'd be, yeah, yeah, sign me up.
So we'll see. Yeah, but yeah, that's not one of our items. Yeah, it's all leaf cleanups, tree trimming,
Mm-hmm.
shrub trimming. I tell them, yeah, like, hey, we'll do it January, February when everything's dormant, so it doesn't do
Yeah,
damage. Try to sell it.
for sure.
Uh,
So how have you found it with the franchisees? So do you feel like you're better off having some people around you for support and things than you would have been on your own? Or are you not that kind of person that needs any kind of support and you're fine on your own?
yeah, it's great seeing what other people are going through,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the last few months, like, I mean, I'm not on the Facebook a lot. I look at it when I can.
Yeah.
Masterminds, I gotta get in the masterminds more, but it's nice seeing like the numbers, how we're ranking.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a little competitiveness and
Mm-hmm.
be like, all right, hey, we're doing good, And questions like, okay, this guy's doing that and it's working out. I just like having that, other
Yeah.
people as mentors, and
Yeah.
what works for them, I don't see why it won't work in this market. So that's the main thing. It just really builds confidence, and yeah, it takes away the fear. So it's good.
Mhm. How are you with the franchisees closest to you? Do you have any nearby?
Yeah, it's a new location. Damn, I forgot. Was it Grafton? Or
That sounds right.
um,
Grafton.
yeah. So yeah, that location opened up. So I was talking. Damn, I know his name. I forgot his.
He'll forgive you.
Yeah, he'll be mad at me now. But no, I was talking to him pretty regularly. I did have a good conversation with him. Because he was coming from the police force, so he's
Mm-hmm.
solo, and I was just, I had a good chat with him for like 2 hours one night, and you know, it was basically what I was going through year one, so it's nice being able to tell him my experience,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think he hired his first employee, so yeah, I keep tabs on him. He's only an hour away, so
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah. So what is the future plan? Like in the next year, the next 5 years, what are you kind of thinking to do?
The next year is just, yeah, really get out of the field, because that's, I don't mean to curse, but it's like I'm in that hell right now of
Yep.
trying to get out of the field and
Hmm.
do estimates, just not enough hours in a day.
Exactly.
And then, so that's the first goal. So I think the rest of this year, we'll just stick with that, because it kind of tapering off what month we in now. So we got 3 months left to the year that I might as well just ride it out the way it is.
Yeah.
And the next spring, yeah, because I got a feeling it's going to be, 20 estimates in a day. So
Exactly.
have to be hiring. So that's why I'm excited. It looks like the market has turned around labor wise, where I
Hmm.
should be able to hire people and allow me to be out of the field. So
Yeah.
I'll be doing what Mike was saying about, hire a couple guys and February, train them up
Hmm.
every 2 weeks or whatever, try to hire another guy, you know, trying not to hire so many in one block, but try to spread it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know if you want to talk revenues or not, but I think we're in that, I don't know, we might hit 500 this year. It's just employee issues kind of screwing us up right now, just getting jobs done.
Yeah. What was your goal for this season?
My goal was like, 450.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're hitting that, no problem. So,
Nice.
and then, I that's what I said, realistic. I was like, all right, we should hit 450. If we hit 5, that'd be awesome.
Hmm.
So, next year, yeah, it's just pretty much add like 250K every year.
That's
I don't want to
awesome.
grow too rapidly.
Yeah.
So just seeing all the stresses that going on, just hiring 3 guys,
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine trying to double it, from 500 to 1 mil. But yeah, I would, the long term, I would rather, it seems like our market's big enough, Virginia Beach, where, I could make it 2 mil a year or something, so
Yeah.
I'd rather go that route instead of having another location in the nearby city. And then I like to get it where it's just running itself. And
Yeah.
if if my son wanted a location nearby Chesapeake, then I'll explore that, So I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So he would have the opportunity to do the 3F program then if he's worked with you for a couple years. So then if he did start his own, he could be pretty set to do that.
Yeah, and I would encourage the solo, just stick with that for a couple years
Hmm.
when you're young, like he is, 20.
Hmm.
Because I kind of see that with some franchisees. I mean, these are just young kids, man. They're just not
Hmm.
used to dealing with people. As soon
Yeah.
as we get, the stress and depression dealing with, it's not pushing mowers. Now you're dealing with people,
Totally.
emotions, that, really get the business kind of running itself for a few years, and don't be such a hurry to try to get up to that $1 million business, because
Yeah. One thing about that, I'll ask you, when you were supervisor at your other company, did you find that to be a big deal, anxiety and depression type thing, more so than it is now with the guys you work with?
it's probably, the anxiety is probably worse here, because you're controlling everything, so you're responsible for your mistakes.
Yeah.
Um, my old place, it was like there's a team, really, so
Mhm.
who wants to take ownership, so
Exactly.
here that's where I'm growing, is, just being slow to hire now. So
Yeah.
that's definitely, that's where I kind of screwed up with a few guys, because you get, like, my gut was like, give him a shot, and then
Yeah.
now it's like, I don't want to waste his time, because my gut is pretty good, where I could just see it not
Awesome.
going good, and why bother going down that road? Just wait for the right guy to come along.
Yeah. So is your mindset really growth? So it doesn't bother you, like growth sucks cash and you know that we're going for your 250 more each year. Do you plan to stay in that growth mode for quite a while?
Yeah, because we're getting by, so bills are paid. So I would like to get up to that point where it is pretty profitable. Probably like the 800K mark, maybe, that
Mm-hmm.
finally take a year, maybe, and put some money away. But if I guess with the market, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. That as far as inflation and whatnot, that it really hasn't affected us at all. So it
Mm-hmm.
looks like I'm not scared to stay in growth mode.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, so I'd like to get it up to that $1 million size. So just have it where, hey, if it's profiting 100, 200K, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of it is my ego side too, though. Like, that was the reasons I was leaving. I was angry at my old job, so it's a lot
Yeah,
of proving them wrong. So if I can put that kind of money away in a year,
yeah.
man, that's going to be a huge win for me. So,
So
so
we definitely got to get you guys so you can get out of the field. So then you'd be
yeah,
managing just people and overseeing everything.
right. Yep.
That would be great. So right now, did you lose somebody in the past week?
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, there was quality issues, yellow slips, and
Yeah, I think I remember on the Connect Team chat, I just see stuff flow in all day. And then I thought I saw your wife, Mary, say, I don't know, he's out in the field right now. Somebody quit or we fired somebody or something like that.
yeah, it was. If it came down to like just lost trust in the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of stuff was being hidden, damage to properties. So that when I was talking to the guy, I said, man, that's the worst thing, is to hear from a customer that damaged property. I want to hear it from you, because
Yes.
like I said, you drove away from that property knowing it looked horrible, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, why would you put that off? It's going to come back to you know you're going to hear about it at some point. Why not just
Yes,
be upfront
exactly.
about it? And I can deal with that. We had a car accident with a guy back. He hit a parked car. Just parking a
Oh
truck.
no.
Just did like a side swipe.
Yep.
But he was upfront and honest, and it was like I can work with that. So
Definitely.
it's when I run to the guys that are kind of hiding stuff that I can't deal with. It's just there's so much responsibility you're giving a guy.
Yeah.
20,000, 30,000 setup. And
Yep.
these mowers are 10 grand now. So it's like yeah. Once I lose trust with somebody, it's hard to keep trusting them. So I had to team them up.
Yeah.
And then if his team member didn't show up, then what do I
Oh
do with this
no.
guy? And so
Exactly.
it was like Russian roulette some days. Like, how many yellow slips are we gonna get today? And
Terrible.
it was getting to be one a day. So it was like time. Yeah, it was time. So
Okay, well, I was wondering if you could share a little bit. You as a person, what kind of things do you listen to? Or when you work out during the day, do you listen to nothing and you just are alone with your thoughts and that kind of thing? Or do some
okay.
people, they just can't multitask or like have one earbud in and listen to anything. But what kind of things do you normally listen to encourage yourself and just throughout the day?
Yeah, definitely. I switch back and forth music and podcasts. Pretty much all the self-development
Hmm.
audiobooks. Most recent one, who was it? I can't think of his name. Oh, Tim Grover.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Did you listen to Relentless?
yeah, that's the one I
Buffalo?
just listened to, and I think anybody that is like running into that like depression should
Yep.
listen to a book like that, because it
Yeah.
really changes that mindset to, I was able to use anger as my motivation, and really
Yes.
build the confidence and be like, okay, I know what to do. Because I think the depression just comes like you just feel trapped, and you don't know what to
Yeah.
do. So you got to take ownership and make a decision, and
Yeah.
that's a great book, and I recommend anybody.
Yeah. I listened to that one 7 times, I remember, and just to get it in my head. And I call Marcus Closer, that he's the closer all the
Oh, yeah,
time.
yeah,
That's his nickname. And so we always have had names like that for each other. But just reading that book,
yeah.
when he was younger, I would call him a different name in that book. And then as he got, grew so much, I'm like, you're closer, man. And
Yep.
And the thing is, I can't really recommend that book to employees though, because he says the F word every other word. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
puts you in an awkward position. So they said to read this book.
right. And but yeah, I recommend that anybody that's having like a hard time. It's like it just totally turns you down a different avenue, and
Definitely.
It's like, all right, you can use anger in a good way, and get your motivation back and get through all the crap going on. So yeah, I recommend that one. What else? Yeah, music, just I don't know, whatever's on the radio. I don't, So I'm not, and I got my taste in music, but but
What are your favorite podcasts?
Podcasts. I don't really listen to podcasts other than Joe Rogan stuff, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's usually just audiobooks and music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one quote from the Tim Grover there. It really struck. He was saying that it's talking about winning.
Mm-hmm.
It's winning takes you through hell, and if you quit, that is where you will stay. So like when you're ever having those hard times, I was like, well, that's the trip we're going through right now. But if you quit, that's where you're going to stay.
For sure. That's a good one. So it's not often that you get kind of a platform to be able to say something to other people, but you've seen, young guys like your son that are watching all the goings on, and young guys that want to start businesses. You see people that are in jobs like you were and
Right.
maybe want to be brave and step out. From your experience, what kind of things would you say to encourage those guys?
Yeah, I would be a spokesperson for the guy that's been at his job and just fed up and and is scared to take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
that is everything went as expected. I wasn't promised anything that didn't come to fruition. So
Yeah.
and it's really, what do you want to do? It really comes down to who you are as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be successful, it's the franchise. It just makes it so much easier. So advice for young guys is, just take it slow. I mean, you're young. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my problem is I had a failure back in my late 20s, the 2008 recession.
Yeah.
And then that was a growing pain because it's more or less I gave up on it. I quit there, so
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of regret. So I was 10 years working this other job, knowing I had this entrepreneurship in me.
I love it.
This allowed me to get back into it.
Yeah. Was that lawn care or some other business you tried to start?
It started, it was another business because I was a union carpenter back in Massachusetts. So it just led into home building, and so it was just stick building homes, and I enjoyed that. I still kind of miss that.
And then you went kind of into the comfort of the stability of what was promised.
Yeah, for the franchising.
No, for your 10-year job that you ended up in.
Oh yeah, definitely, because it buried me that recession. So it was like having to start over.
Exactly.
But it went good for 5 years. But you're just climbing the ladder, and after a while, and things don't go your way. You have dreams of you remember what it was like to have that freedom to make your own decision, and that's what I like. That's what you guys the franchise was offering, was the freedom to make your own mistakes. Really, like, hey, if I wanted to just do pavers, you weren't gonna say, no. You let you do what you want, and all have been very supportive. So.
Well, there's only a certain quality of people. Like, I know when Lee talks to people to sell the franchise, he's very, very careful. And some people want to join right now, and he doesn't feel like they would be a good fit. So I really appreciate having you in the franchise. And you're the kind of person that, if anything, if a customer calls and they said, well, this Pete guy, he did this and this and this at my property, I already know that you are vetted by Lee or Mike, whoever you talk to. And so I can like with full assurance, I can say, oh, that doesn't sound like him. There must be some misunderstanding. And then I get the information and then can get back to you and figure out what happened. But it's just because I know of the quality of person you are, or you wouldn't be with us. And so I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. And yeah, I can't say how great it's been. It's been a, still on a good ride, so yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm excited to keep going, and yeah, it's been everything I would hope for, and yeah, thank you guys too. So
yeah, well, you're learning with us. So can you imagine, 5 years from now where we'll be since we're moving so fast?
I know it. I've been telling just friends or whatever that people are that like I don't see why any city there's gonna be Augusta in every city once they learn about it. So it's gonna explode. It's just you'd be crazy not to. That's kind of what I was like. I was like, you're crazy not to sign up once you really learn about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's just gonna the franchise is gonna blow up. In a good way, but
yeah. So we'll all be doing it together and all be a part of leading it together. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate you sharing. I know it helps a lot of people to hear these. So it'll encourage the other franchisees because they don't get to meet anyone, and some of them don't get to always come to Summit either. So they feel like they can be a little more connected when they hear.
Yeah, I'll be at the Summit.
Yay!
Yeah, it's good to get away, kind of recharge and hear everybody's stories and
yeah,
have a good
that
time.
would be great. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you there.
Yep. So.
All right. Well, tell Mary hello.
Yep. Yeah, she's hiding in the background, but
she's listening to everything. Well, tell her I said hi, and I'll have to interview her sometime too and get her side of the story.
Yeah. She always jokes she's Filipino. She's scared to say the wrong thing. Dialect.
So. I would help her through. All right. Well, thank you, and you have a great day.
Thank you, Liz. Yep. Good talking with you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yep. See ya.